Alright, YouTube. So the next video we're going to go over is where it started. Where did Zephyr Lemonade start? I think origin stories are fun. It's always interesting to find out, how a company became a company, what made them take the risk, what made them go out and say, hey, I'm going to start this business and kind of gamble on whether or not it'll be successful. So Zephyr Lemonade started, I think, when I started making my own lemonade at home for my family. So I used to do door-to-door sales. I kind of talked about that, and one of the times I was out selling, we were like in Indiana or something, somewhere weird. I can't remember. Not that Indiana was weird. It was weird for me to be there. A kid from Washington State, but yeah, we were in Indiana. I was with my buddy McConan, and we were out selling, satellite door to door. And I go into this house. We're talking to them, trying to get them set up, and the woman there offers me some lemonade, and I don't like, kind of cheap. I'm not like a huge fan of, like lemonade or like powdered lemonade. And I was like, no, I'm good. Like I'm not really a fan of powdered, like, is it real lemonade? Like, is it fresh fruit? Oh yeah, so that's the only way to do it. And it's so funny, like, lemonade is so simple. It's water, sugar, lemon juice. Like, it's so simple, but a lot of people, they won't take the time to, just do something. Just do it that way. She's like, no. She's like, I don't need it that way. So for me, I think that's when Zephyr Lemonade started. Because after talking to her, I was like, oh, like, what's, like, now, obviously, being in the business for a while, it's like, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, to figure out how simple it is. But at the time, I'm like, well, like, what's the recipe? It's just like water, sugar, and lemon juice. But we, I'm sitting there, we're getting her signed up for TV, and I kind of kill like the glass she gave me, like drink it pretty quick, and she gets me another glass, and I drink that one pretty quick, and we're there for like maybe an hour. I think I've had like 2 or 3 glasses of this one. We go to leave, and she's like, you want a to-go cup? And I was like, yeah, I want a to-go cup. And I remember, because my buddy, I think he was outside waiting for me. It was like the end of the night, it was like 9, 10 o'clock or something. It was the end of the night, and he was out in the vehicle waiting for me to finish up. And I remember it was so good. I was like, dude, you got to come in here and try out this lemonade. Like, it's just tasty, homemade, lemonade. And he was like, all right. So he gets out, and we go up, and she gets him a to-go cup, and gives me a to-go cup, and we drink that lemonade. And that was probably like a year and a half or something before we did our first event. But after that, I went home, and we talked about this in the last video, but I was at home, and I started making it for my family, because I was like, you guys gotta have this lemonade, it's delicious. And she didn't give me like exact recipe. She was kind of like, just go home and figure it out. So I did, but I was just making it for my family. So I was just making it at home, and the family really loved it, and I loved it, and it was just a beverage we made at home. And then, like all that story I talked about in the last video kind of led up to the point where I was out of work. I was terminated from a position I'd worked really hard for, and my mom and my sister were like, you should sell your lemonade. And I as I said in the last video, it's like, I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, who's going to pay money for my lemonade? And anyway, my mom was willing to give me a loan, so she was willing to invest. It was $1 million loan. I'm just kidding. It was like $2,000 or something. It ended up being $2,000. Initially, it was like, a couple $100, and then, there was more equipment needed, and it ended up being like around $2,000. But she was like, you know, I had like a week or two, I think, before this event, and she was like, I'm not just going to give you the money, you need to create a business plan. Like, I need to know that you've thought this through. So I basically sat on the couch, did a bunch of research, Googled a bunch of crap, watched some YouTube videos, just really try to figure out like what was best for me. So if you're going to start a business or you want to get into event vending, a really easy question for you to ask yourself is, what problem do I want to solve? So for me, when I was thinking about lemonade, I was thinking about what I didn't like about lemonade that I got from events. I don't like powdered crap. I don't like it when something sits in a vat all day, because to me, I can taste, it's like, it's a weird taste that the citrus picks up when it's just sitting out, like sitting in a big vat all day long. I can't even really tell you what it is. It's just, I can taste it, so I didn't want that. So that's why we don't do big vats. So we don't, I can show you the trailer really quick. Let me move this. So we're in my vending trailer right now. We don't do big vats, okay? So a lot of businesses will have like something like that, and they'll make a bunch of lemonade and they'll fill it up, and then it sits in there all day long in the sunlight, you know, whatever. So what these are is this is just water. So it's just, you know, water you can get at Lowe's. And then this one right here is our simple syrup. So we make our own simple syrup. Now it's something else I didn't like. So I didn't like that the simple syrup from the store had kind of a weird taste, and it's just, you know, preservatives and whatnot that they put in there. So we ended up making our own simple syrup. If this is your first video, I say we a lot. I don't think anyone starts a business, creates anything on their own. I think a lot of people help you out, so I say we a lot. And it's because I don't think that I'm the only one who got this where it is. There's a lot of people involved. So, but we make our own simple syrup because we don't like the taste of the simple syrup you can buy in the store. We don't do it in vats. That was a problem I wanted to solve. I didn't want the simple syrup taste. I didn't want to just use sugar because I wanted it to be sweet throughout, sweet and sour. And then when it came to flavoring with berries, we had, you know, I've had it a couple different ways. A lot of times people they'll just throw berries in the drink and they'll call it strawberry lemonade, and it's like you don't even taste the strawberries. Or they'll throw blueberries in it and call it blueberry lemonade. You can't taste the blueberries. So, and then we've had people who just dice them and then they get stuck in your straw. So I didn't like that solution. So the more we looked at it, the more we're like, we should just blend these berries up and throw them in the drink. And that's what we did. so we made puree. So this is fresh strawberry puree. A lot of little kids think it's ketchup, so I told them it's ketchup. But let's see. Yeah, you can kind of see in there. That's just fresh berries that we just blend up. We have a recipe for the puree. Sugar, lemon juice, berries. Figure it out. But we use puree, and what that does is it gives us a consistency. So when you see our drinks, they're this beautiful color throughout. This is a raspberry Red Bull lemonade that I'm drinking because it's early and trying to get this YouTube video done. But you can see it's a really beautiful, consistent color. But the thing is, it tastes like raspberries. You can see the little raspberry seeds in there. We want it to taste like raspberries. We want it to taste like strawberries. If we're gonna buy lemonade, we want it to taste like what we're paying for. We don't want stuff to get stuck on our straw, and we don't want to not taste it. That's just silly. So those were two problems, or a couple different problems I wanted to solve, and off we went. We had 3 flavors to start with. We had original. I'm at the Vine Deloria Symposium here at Northwestern Indian College, so I'm just kind of set up selling lemonade, and thought I'd try to get a quick video made before I get customers or it gets too busy. But yeah, those were problems we wanted to solve. So in the beginning, we had 3 flavors. We had original, we had strawberry, and we had huckleberry, and that was it. And that's all we sold. The business, so where it started, right? So it started there, in my opinion. It started when I first had like really good lemonade, and then eventually it came down to the point where we, you know, due to circumstances, had to create a business. I had bills to pay. I didn't get unemployment. I would like missed my hours by like, it was like 20 hours or something. It was like 6 hours. It was something super small, and I was pissed because I got terminated and I couldn't collect unemployment. So like I didn't have any money. I had no options. So my back was really against the wall, and I tried to fight the termination, and it didn't work out for me. So which is fine because I'm doing a hell of a lot better now. But so we had 3 flavors, but got the loan from my mom. I bought like a 10 by 10 tent. I bought some equipment. I got a juicer from Websterant. I had a little pump for the water. So the 5-gallon used to sit on a counter, and then there was a pump you had to sit there and hand pump to get the water to come out. And we got rid of that real quick. I think we maybe used it 1 or 2, like I think it was 1 event. It was our very first event. That was the only time we used it. And then I ended up buying these Crocs that I showed you guys earlier, and then that's what we've been using ever since. They seem to work really well. So, but it started there. I bought a couple of things. You know, there was things that we thought we really needed. We bought an ice chest or a freezer for the ice, thinking, well, we can plug it in and keep the ice frozen. And that was a terrible idea, and we never did it again. Because you don't want your ice like hard, like completely frozen, like super hard frozen, because when you go to break it up and put it in drinks, it doesn't break up very well. So that was a mistake we learned right away. And then we had this ice chest, so I spent like $260 or something on this freezer that didn't really work for the business after that. We put things in there a few times, but I mean ultimately like it didn't. It's just an asset the business owns that just kind of sits there. Sometimes if I have a ton of ice after an event, we'll throw some in there and reuse it, but most of the time, it ended up being kind of like it just sits in the corner now of a garage, so. But anyway, yeah, got all this stuff, and then we needed an event, so I'm online, like, looking for events. We find a powwow, Muckle Street powwow, and we apply and send all our stuff in to be a vendor, and we go there and we set the tent up and put up like I think we had like a wooden sign that my brother made, and we set up and opened up shop, and we had our first event. So, excuse me, that's where we started. So we started in that 10 by 10 tent. So the business, you know, started from a door-to-door sale, tasting really good lemonade, all the way through a couple years of BS, to being terminated from a position, to then creating our own thing. We had 3 flavors. We have 1 size cup, and we still do that today. You come to my business, you get 1 size. It's 24 ounces. That's it. We do that because it saves on overhead. We buy 1 size cup. We buy 1 lid. We get 1 type of straw. Oh, we have different straws. Paper straws. These are compostable straws. They just don't compost as fast as those. Sorry. Someone's playing music. But, yeah, we kept it simple, stupid. And after that first event, I had enough money to pay my mom back. So I was gonna be happy if we made like $100. Like legitimately, I was like, that would be a success if we made $100. And I think that first day we did, it was like $700 or something in selling, and we had 3 drinks, and I think the prices were like $4, $5, and $6. So it was $4 for original, $5 for strawberry, $6 for huckleberry. made $600 or $700, something like that. And then the next day we did better than that. The last day we didn't do as good as the second day, but it was still like $500, $600, something like that. So I got my mom paid back, not the entire 2,000, but most of it, and then paid my sister, my brother, and I had a little bit of profit, and that just went back into the business. So, just a second.
What's up, man?
How's it going? So I just went back into the business, and I realized there was a lot of crappy things about that first setup. Like I said, we borrowed tables from friends because I didn't have money to buy tables, and I'm glad I didn't buy tables, because after that first event we realized that tables take up way too much space. They're way too deep. For what we were doing, we realized that we only needed counters that were 18 inches wide. So after that first event, I had a little bit of money and I reinvested that and I built countertops. So I just used 2x4 and plywood, and I built these counters, and I just did a U shape in that tent. So we had a front counter that was 10 feet long, and we had two counters that went to the back, and they were 10 feet long, and it was a U, so it was really open in the middle. And then you had like your customer counter was taller than the other counters, the working counters, and I built that, and then we used it at our next event, which was in Squally Fireworks. And at the Squally Fireworks we had 3 flavors. Alright, so we were at we had 3 flavors. We were at the Squally Fireworks, and it was like our second event. So there is when we created our Red Bull Lemonade. So the stand across from us, they were doing like spritzers, I think it was like Rockstar spritzers or something, or Monster spritzers or something like that. And people were telling us, they're like a lot of the stand owners, they drink a lot of the energy drinks because they're out here so much. So if you're not aware of what a stand owner is, basically, if you sell fireworks, you own a stand, and you sell out of your stand. You sell fireworks out of your stand. So you sell fireworks out of your stand, makes you a stand owner. So fireworks stand. But a lot of the stand owners are there, 18 hours a day or 20 hours a day sometimes, because they're trying to make all of their money, and they have maybe 2 weeks of selling time to do it. It's a seasonal business. We have inherent rights as Native people, and that means that if we want to sell fireworks on our land, we can. So, but anyway, I set up there. Was told by a few friends that a lot of the stand owners like energy drinks because they're up so late, and we thought, how can we incorporate that? How could we incorporate that into what we do? And we ended up thinking, everyone else was doing like rock stars or monsters. So we're thinking, what could we do that's different? And we were actually told by a few people that they prefer Red Bull at the school. So because they preferred it, we made the decision that we should do a Red Bull Lemonade. So we initially just bought 2 cases of Red Bull, and we went back to the stand, and I was like, we probably don't need sugar, there's probably enough sugar in Red Bull. So the first one that we made was our measurement of lemon juice for a 24-ounce drink, and Red Bull, 8.4-ounce Red Bull. and we mixed it and we drank it, and it was terrible. So there was not enough sugar. So we tried a half dose of sugar, and that wasn't enough. So we ended up doing our regular serving of sugar and our regular serving of lemon juice, and we mixed that, and we're like, damn, that is delicious. It is very tasty. So that's what I was just doing over here, is I'm getting these ready to go. When we get busy, I don't really have time to be doing every single one individually, but we don't like doing bats, so I kind of get a couple ready to go. But the Red Bull Lemonade is tasty, so ice cold. We did that, it was pretty good, and we had our berries, and we were like, well, what's it going to taste like with berries? So we threw our berries in there, and it was delightful. So that was how Red Bull Lemonade for us was created. I've seen other people out there who have Red Bull lemonades or lemonades with Red Bull. I don't know their origin story or how they did it or whatever. That's just how we did it, and that's the way that worked out best for us. So you get a full Red Bull, it's like 3/4 cup ice. This is the lemon juice and the simple syrup, and all we do is throw that bad boy in there. Let's see, what's the best Andrew drink? What do you guys think? Is it Red Bull? Is it Monster? Rockstar? Energy drink's terrible. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. And then we take our fresh pureed strawberry. Let's see, you guys can't see that. We throw it up on top here. And I'm gonna be a little cray-cray today. We're gonna do a little half and half. So this is half strawberry, half raspberry. Let's see. Yeah. Come behind the camera. We take a lid. Everything we do is compostable. So we got compostable cups, lids, straws, paper straws. That is the finished product. Right? We take that. We give it the old wrist flick. I don't know what a Rick Flist is. Paper straw. Throw it in there. Boom. So good.